I have a router in my room, but the internet here is still very bad. But I managed to update the cloud and saw that indeed some stuff was loaded overnight from the office. About 7 gigabytes. And I have around 80. So it will take 3 more days to upload it all. But still, today is the day when I leave. I need to keep up the pace. Probably now I will go to Cusco, Machu Picchu, through the asphalt road. Cause I don't know why, but I'm already tired. Cesar is ready to work, there he is. He has a meeting at 8 am, and I'm picking my stuff and will also move on. But before I'll visit the office. Just check a couple more files on the way and we'll go. Although he says just stay if you want. But I have to go. Cesar bought his first plot here over 20 years ago. And then the neighbors started to sell him other sections. So slowly his section has grown to the size of 80,000 square meters. Now he's an owner. He has one hotel in Lima, and he also buys land here, in the valley. So he could be called a local businessman from Huancayo, where he gets permission from local authorities to build some kind of cottage village or some other residential building. And then he plans to sell these apartments. He has a beautiful, well-groomed territory. And his staff, those people who work for him, yeah, they also live here in this house. For example, this is a woman that comes to clean and cook. As you can see, the river is very close to the plot, so here there's a little channel. This beauty certainly requires a great effort. Hi, doggy. That's it. I'd say thank you to this house, and we'll also thank Cesar as soon as we meet. So now we are aiming to Cusco and Machu Picchu. Otherwise, I've been feeling myself completely relaxed here in Peru, and it's already a fourth week. I'm in the office, it's still the morning and I'm leaving in a few minutes. Of course, someone came here in the evening, maybe a cleaner or another person, saw the working computer and turned it off. By that time it managed to upload only around 9 gigabytes from this computer for the whole night. So I said to my friend Cesar, let's write "do not touch." And so he wrote "no tocar hasta mañana", like "do not touch until tomorrow", and even left his signature, his autograph. So now I go and will also leave it over here, while the work is in progress, so no one would touch it. Well, now I can say goodbye and leave.
Iscuchaca. I think you must go there today. It's a small town, it's beautiful. Many tourists. I'm gonna write yeah, and if you check your map and see Iscuchaca. Okay, amigo.
Muchas gracias.
Te vaya bien. Good luck.
Welcome to Ukraine.
Thank you. You have your.
You will visit St. Petersburg and then come to Ukraine.
Okay, we are gonna be in contact.
I am very glad that I met Cesar. I was very lucky. Indeed. Lucky that I asked everyone from all those sites for help with my video files. And I guess that nobody would probably help me more than him. No one just simply could. Still, it were 2 computers, a fiber optics, and... because that girl is done. The loading stopped, she writes to me that her brother checked everything and it seems to work well, but nothing is loading. Well, and plus, this whole leisure was also very cool, tasty, interesting and decent. Great. And he also invited me. At the end, he said that I always have a house in Peru, meaning his one. And there's another house in a jungle where he invited me to have a nice rest. I stopped for a lunch. Ceviche is my weakness in Peru. I don't eat fish so frequently anywhere as here in Peru. Meet a man who turns out to be very talented.
Esto para video.
These are the pictures he draws. By the way, this one he painted in a place where I lived, not far from Cesar's house. Very beautiful. Here he sells ceviche. Now he's 36, has 2 children, married. For all his life he was only here and in Lima, but only traveled in business, because he gets fish from there. Now he'll show us a fish. He says it has been traveling in the fridge for 2 days. Ceviche is really delicious here. I really like local seafood. The sauces are very tasty. And Cesar also recommended me a local trout ceviche instead of eating the same dish from the sea fish. So I will use his advice. Come closer. There he brags how it looks.
Turel.
Turel?
Turel se llama. Congeladas.
Yeah, it's beautiful and very tasty. The same fish, only this one is cooked like ceviche. Look, it's very, very beautiful. They pickle it.
Preparar solo en esta sauce. Sí, no en agua, nada. Solo esta.
He also cooked a fish soup, which was really cool. For $2 or for $2.30, I ate a large plate of a fish soup and 1 serving of a ceviche. Very cool here. And he only used water, lemon, pepper and fish. Some kind of a new wave has started. I came down to this valley called Huancayo. I've been staying here for almost a week, yeah. Probably that's my 5th day here. And for all that time I've never been called a gringo. Not a single time. And I saw very respectful attitude. I'm simply flourishing.
Muchas gracias, chao.
That was great. Yes, I should say that I really like locals a lot. Yeah, and I'm generally fine with people in Peru, but only there are some places, well, you remember, when they're just like mocking me with that gringo. Don't like it, but here, top shelf. They call me both senor and mister, or also used word amigo. Well, ceviche. A fish dish. If you order it in a restaurant, generally costs, well, maybe $3+. Remember that $1 is about 3.3 sols. That's the rate. You can also find a cafe on a street, as we saw previously entering Huancayo, where it will cost nearly 5 sols. Not a great deal, as it is quite liquid, spare, and there is not too much fish. I drove up to this guy and asked what's the price for ceviche. He said 8. Pretty much expensive, I think. But then he began to list all the components and used a couple new words for me. For example, chelcano. I don't know what it is, but in a word, for 8 sols he fed me so heavily. And then again he sat with me, was so calm and balanced in a conversation. He asked where I'm from, where I'm going, what places did I visit. That kind of questions. Very pleasant. Well, now I'm really tuned for not moving away from the asphalt road. Relaxing for a week, just visited Cusco, because now I've already come up with a new plan for myself. A new plan, I want to go down to the jungle. Yes. While right now it's in my head, it's an extra 1.5, well, literally 1.7 kilometers, which I didn't expect to have and didn't plan, but if now it will be a good part of road along the asphalt, then I think it's totally possible. Yeah, past me. It's totally possible to drop into the jungle and to have about 3 extra weeks there. There will be jungle, but for now I'll take an asphalt road. The only thing to worry about is whether it will be enough interesting content to shoot and speak about while I'm going along that way. It turns out that Chewbacca really exists. He was copied from the Peruvian. Here you have one Chewbacca, and the other one stands over there. Let's get closer. Here I studied to meet a traditional headwear, that kind of hats. And now for the umpteenth time I seen a bus stops, a gas boat with such a peak in form of this hat. My bike is standing over there, and I'm aiming, well, first of all, look at that beautiful church. Like everywhere else here. In small towns, villages, they have a central park and here is some action. So I decided to come closer and see what it is.
Disculpa, ¿qué es esto?
Cumpleaños.
Ah, cumpleaños.
Ajá. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
¿Hijo o adulto?
Mamá.
Ajá,
Mother,
claro.
mother.
Gracias.
That's a birthday. Generally here they have a tradition to invite mariachi. These are the people who play the instruments, the orchestra. It's just considered here as a best possible indicator of birthday or any other holiday to invite mariachi, the orchestra. As simple as it is. It all started from Mexico, where it's just a whole different story, totally another level. And here in Central America, some places had it, some places didn't. In South America, for example, in Peru, I began to meet it again in so many places. It's almost noon now. Don't you notice that the sun is almost in its zenith? Almost. Well, you can see it through the shadow of the bike. There it is. Or my own shadow. You see, right? The sun here is very dangerous. That's why everyone tells me, especially when I take off my hat and they see my burnt face, they ask, why don't you use a sunscreen? And I'm honestly saying, guys, I was in the mountains, it was cold and it has been raining for the whole day and there was not a single second when the sun was shining, so I took off the hat. And they go, don't do that. Aren't you kidding? The sun here is very active. Miracles are happening. I sat down and those kids...
Muchas gracias.
That was cool.
Gracias.
I sat down and that was really an amazing feeling. I mean this. So before the kids came up, they sat down over there and just started to wave their hands, just saying hello, and then came up and treated me.
Esto sombrero typical, ¿sí? Solo aquí.
Sí, todo así nos usamos.
Pero no todo Perú. ¿Esto de Avieja? No, esto de Costa Rica. Pero esto no animales. Esto... No, vieja. Gracias, chao.
I asked about her hat. My God, did you see that truck driver? He honked, so I looked at him and saw that he was waving his hand to me from the cabin. So, I asked her whether that hat is woven in wool. Yeah, she said that it's made of a sheep wool. I started that day at 3.3 thousand and already reached 4. That's how quickly everything went. And I'm going to Cusco at an altitude of 3.4 thousand. Of course it will be easier to ride through the asphalt road, so I'm simply resting right now. Very beautiful serpentines. And I have a lot of fun while going along that road. I already have 60 on my speedometer. And that's great. Cool. This quite long descent goes further about 20 more kilometers, for sure. So once again I wonder whether they have ceviche here. Let's go and ask. I'm not starving, but I wouldn't refuse to snack.
Buenas tardes. Oh, ¿hay ceviche hay?
Sì, quanto costa? 18?
Well, let's go and shoot, but 18 is slightly over $5. On the other hand, they have a fish over here. There you can see how they breed it. So what the problem? Today I've already gorgeously dined sea fish for 8 sols. Here the price is 18. Plus I eat ceviche, well, 1 or 2 times a week. Mostly on the weekends. Today is Tuesday, and on the last weekend I only ate it on Friday. Also, a complex lunch here costs 5 sols. It includes soup, rice with meat, and a drink, 5 sols. And they want for ceviche, for one dish, 18 sols. Well, you know, I actually decided that I should take it. Well, decided. The fact is that I usually eat here a complex lunches with a set meal, and then it turns out that there are such delicious dishes. Well, let's see what is it, a trout ceviche. It starts as usual, they bring corn and sauce. Oh, this is my meal, and I should say that it looks very worthily. A lot of fish, there's also a lemon, looks beautiful. Great. Maybe it doesn't cost 18 sols, probably could have been a little bit cheaper, but anyway. And you know what? I think this dish worth that money, and they also cooked it well, very tasty, wouldn't you say? That first one for 8 sols also was good, but it's 2 different types of fish. And here they put more fish in a meal, much more fish. It's very unusual. And there is a house among the trees. Look at those ones with those branches dangling down to the ground. The type of soil, the waterfall, everything styled the same way. All these cars have passed by me a long time ago, so why didn't they stop here? Because the road is blocked. Why so? Because again, there's some kind of a landslide ahead. I've already wanted to ask how much time do I need to stand here, when the woman said, well, you can actually go through the side. Let's check it now. How beautiful! Look at that bridge!
Buenas, yo con cuidado. Sí.
I said that I would be very careful and attentive. And of course I keep showing a good sides of Peru from which we can learn, but however, there is a lot of garbage here. Unfortunately, this is a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage in the places where the real indigenous descendants of the Incas live. I clearly see that they are Incas descendants by their faces, without any impurity of Spaniards. They drive alone and simply throw everything out of car. They are probably still used to their previous way of life and way of thinking that occurred in the so-called natural times. Ate a chicken, threw a bone. A pig or a dog ate it. Ate banana, threw out a skin. So it looks like it's written in genetics that you can throw everything away. The same story with the thrown-out bottle. They simply think it disappears somehow. They don't even wonder. And unfortunately, yes, that's why today you can see all those trash mountains. While touching that beauty, I want to believe in civilization and its inheritors, but it turns out, yeah, the bike is in place. What a wonderful arch. It smells like a toilet. Here we go. Is it a shell rock? Our current altitude is 3,000 meters above sea level.
¿De dónde?
Okay.
¿Montañas? ¿Esta?
No, that's not a shell rock, but very similar. I'm sorry. I talked long enough. Well, it's quite scary to walk down here. Oh my, what a trash. Look, you can see a dump over there. They simply threw all the trash on the top. Now I travel a lot along the mountain rivers, and I wanna say that a lot of trash comes from here, exactly from here. I think that probably about 90% of garbage in the ocean came from the highlands. Here people do not think at all about it. Probably because of a narrow worldview. Here he sees a river for 2 kilometers forward and that's it. He doesn't understand where it goes further. And to throw a piece of paper in there is fine, because it wasn't thrown out directly into the sea. It will go forward for 2 kilometers and the other stuff doesn't bother anyone. Cesar told me about this village and its beauty. Yeah, it's nice. Here they have the sheep and the pigs graze. Also here there's some kind of small local dump and the children are playing here too. This is a popular place for youngsters who like to sit here and drink, judging by the broken bottles, garbage and the rest. And this place they usually use as a toilet, as you can see by all those streams. The true expression of love. I certainly do believe that you, my dear viewer, is far from that. Because even me, who came here, stayed and totally understood it, should say that in my city we have directly the same situation.
Buenas. Buenas tardes.
Also blocked there.
Buenas.
But I'm on a bike, so I managed to bypass it. People are sitting and having rest.
Hola. Buenas tardes.
Now we'll shoot that beautiful bridge from this side. There it is. I'm going and all the people around here are greeting me. A few seconds earlier the guy with women passed by. So he was kind of walking, looking at that flag and saying, "Esta bandera, Ukraine or not Ukraine?" And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
¿A cómo sabes? ¿Cómo conoces? ¿Cómo conoces? Sí, pero de fútbol o qué? Shevchenko. Gracias. Chao, chao.
That's it, he knows. Cool.
Buenas tardes.
Look, how can it be? Just how? She's white, they're black. And here is another white one. Absolutely all countries are great. But it's very pleasant to be identified and hear that someone recognizes your country. That's always nice. Because of a blocked road, I'm driving alone and I'm glad for it. Because here again, these narrow Peruvian roads, typical roads which I travel through the mountains, here they start. And from the right side, as usual, no parapet at all. And so we go. I'll try to convey with my appearance that blessing feeling. Now I have passed almost 90 kilometers. The sun has already set. It's plus 20 degrees, 3,000 meters above sea level. Empty road. For almost half a day I have been riding next to the mountain river. I hear its sounds. It's so calming, cosmic views around. I'm well fed. Nothing hurts. Physically, I'm already in that right condition, and for me, 90 kilometers, I feel like I would ride and ride today. But it is getting dark. That's the only reason to stop right now. Just feel it. The bike goes nicely. Ratchet is working. Buildings are destroyed and abandoned, with llamas on the pictures. That's why I love the state of a journey. When you feel yourself at home regardless of where you are. Within reason, of course. I didn't feel like that in Arctic. You feel yourself comfortable, full and absolute peace. In case of eating, drinking, getting to some point, I don't have any fear that I will not get there. Or I wouldn't find food there. A water or a place for a tent. Nothing at all. You feel only a pure peace. Great. We are in a small village with a railway line, but it seems that it doesn't work much. Right near the mountain you can see a shell rock. So right here they built a village council. The village council has surpassed any other object and probably costs us 3 such villages. For the first time here they called me a gringo. I'll come and try to explain it to the guys.
Buenas tardes, pero me llamo Ruslan, mi nombre, Ruslan. Sí, yo soy ucraniano, señor, mister, amigo, no gringo. Todos blanco turístico aquí no gustan gringo. Esto no bien. Esto como simio o perro. Ciao.
So that was the point. Well, I thought if I would explain it to at least a couple of people, maybe then they will transmit it to the others, and maybe then something will change. Wow, there is no bridge here. The cars are in trap.
Buenas tardes.
Just look at that. What's happening here? Is it a miracle? Generally, there's no roads at all. Everything was washed away. Yeah, move on. I'll let you to go first.
Simio.
I have no words. Yes, people here don't put negative in a word gringo. I mean mountain locals. For sure. Well, if it's not 100, then it's 99%. Sometimes it happens. But mostly they don't. Just use it as an alternative to the word tourist. Probably like that. So a tourist, that's also white. Oh, the mobile network appeared. But it's bad that they are not taught that it's not necessarily right to say this in a person's eyes. That this is a disrespectful attitude. I'm not saying that they shouldn't call white tourists a gringo. Call them as you want. I'm talking about them, not using this type of word as a call. It's already a little bit dark and I hit a 100 kilometers mark. I plan to ride 5 more kilometers if a man told me the truth, and if he is good at distance, there would be a village there. Well, in any case, I'm already set up to ride these 5 kilometers, so it's great. Let's go.